Well, we're excited to come into this clover plot. I'm just looking at it for first time this year after everything's come up. We did some a scrape project on there earlier this year, but I wanted to come in here, look at this clover, and kind of give you a first-hand glimpse into what we're looking at and what we want to do for maintenance, and kind of take some of those tips back to your own property and your own clover plots and see what maybe you could do there. Now, one of the things we've been doing is we have been mowing once a year, and then we've been applying a liquid fertilizer. This is full second year. This will be the second year of full growth on this clover field. So to me, it's looking really, really good. You can see we have no grasses in here at all that I can see in any way. So we don't have to worry about Clethodim and using Clethodim to take out the grasses. Now, some of our clover that was new last year, we actually had rye mixed in with that clover, so we actually had an appreciable food plot in the fall, and we sprayed Clethodim out on that a few days ago just to get the rye out of the plot. Here we have no grass to get. We did take out one of the shade trees and turn that into a scrape right over there. It was a cherry, so we're going to get more sunlight to there. We had a big cedar here we took out in the past to get more sunlight, and that's part of it. Clover is shade tolerant, but it's not shade proof. So I think people make the mistake that you can put it up in a shady area. You only get an hour of sun a day. You're going to give it very, very light growth, and so not a real good idea to do that. You can see some of the areas where sun hits more appreciably, and as it gets down into here, the clover is a lot thicker and higher volume. So overall, plot's looking really good. So we're at the point now where, let's say we have some yellow rocket coming in and some various dandelions, some other broadleafs. This looks like pigweed right here coming in. It's pretty bad. But what I find is the thicker you make the clover, it develops into a mat. And so we have a clover plot on the other side called Leo's plot that's a little bit older, maybe 2 years older. It comes in super thick, and it's so matted that when you try to make a scrape and kick the ground, you can't even cut the clover unless you do it with a spade. So in that case, by mowing it once a year, and what we'll mow this, we'll start in that annual maintenance, we're waiting for this clover to flower out, which should take place by the 3rd week of June, somewhere around there, on this older clover, even middle of June. And then we're going to come in here when those flowers are about half dead, and then we'll mow this. When we mow that, and you see a lot of the clover back in here, it's starting to get pretty vertical. We have alfalfa mixed in here too. You see the chicory right here, and you see the alfalfa right here. What's cool about this, our blend right here that we put together, of course, from decades of trial and error, but this alfalfa is nice because it occupies a higher canopy than the clover. So it shoots above the clover, and then we get an area that it fills that the clover doesn't. So it's above that clover, and then that little bit of shade, the clover can take that, all around it is doing well. So it really gives you more volume in the plot because it gives you a little bit of area on top of the clover. But once you mow that, then it encourages growth outward, and you get that really thick, almost viney, lush stand that helps you compete with any broadleaf that's out here. So what I find is consistent mowing once a year, then you can really take over, and we'll make sure this yellow rocket and anything else that's broadleaf in here begins to disappear, or it doesn't take from the clover. So you want this to be, we're looking at right now, and this is 95% clover on the ground plus. And so you want to see that. If I come in here and I have weeds that are making up 40-30% of this stand, then I'm starting to worry, because those weeds, you're typically not going to, maybe you can diminish them a little bit, but they're always going to be there. So when we're starting out in year 2 and it's 95% clover, that's where you want to be. You're always going to have weeds, they're always going to come back. And then with mowing, I found that we can take care of this clover for 6, 7, 8 years, and I've taken care of a field for 10 years or more, to where we really don't have to replant this or worry about the weeds in here in any way. One of the other steps is when we mow in about 3 to 4 weeks, once those flowers are about half dead, then we'll hit this with liquid fertilizer. We have a 3-18-18 from Deer Grow. It's perfect for not putting too much nitrogen on the clover, and we're getting nutrients back into the soil. And right after we mow, we try to time that before rain. We're hitting it with that liquid fertilizer, and man, it thickens up and turns beautiful. And you can see this field is already doing really well as it is for a year or two plot. Really happy. You know, if we had this, if we had grass in here, I would look at 1 pint per acre of Clethodim, 16 ounces, and then 1 quart, combine that with 1 quart of crop oil. That makes that Clethodim effective, and it's a grass-specific herbicide. It'll take the grass out. Now, some people use 2,4-D-B, and 2,4-D will take out some of the other broadleafs in here. For example, the chicory, maybe the bird's foot trefoil. I don't think it'll take out the alfalfa. But bottom line is we want that diversity in the blend. So I look at it with continual mowing. You know, once a year we're mowing. That fertilizer treatment, so it allows it to get thick, then we're really competing and out-competing our broadleaves. And what we've seen, something like lamb's quarters, for example, has a really hard time competing with the growth and the thickness of the clover. It needs full sun, the lamb's quarter. So when you're cutting and that clover gets really thick, it's out-competing the lamb's quarters. And you see, like here, right here, you can just see this alfalfa, how it really wants to occupy that next level. When we cut it, it makes it thicker, but that alfalfa wants to come up here above the clover, and so again it offers volume at that other level. And you can see when you start getting back in here, it's just beautiful. We do need to mow. We have some of those broadleafs coming in, but extremely lush, and really excited about this. It's looking really good, and I hope that gives you some of the tips that you can take back to your own clover fields. And I have to mention, this might be one of the last videos that we're doing this on, but we have the Camp Kicking Bear event, our charity event that we have annually at the house here on June 14th. All our partners kick in for that. So we're giving away a redneck ghillie blind, a Matthews bow, and only about 40 people typically come to that event. It's $250 per person. It starts at 10 a.m. We provide breakfast and lunch. We take you on a tour around the property. We have some speaking portions. You bring your kids for free. It's an awesome day, and every penny raised goes right to Kicking Bear. So we have a lot of people, volunteers that help out with that kick in. We have some great door prizes for those that pay the $250, and then we also have a $100 raffle times 100 tickets, where we have people that come out here, a winner, and hunts the end of September with Jen and I. We house you, feed you, and we have a good time for 3 days. You have 3 evening hunts out here. But overall, it's just a great day, and this marks our 5th year we've been doing this here at the house, and we will have raised over $100,000 during those 5 years that we have given directly to Kicking Bear. Again, every dime plus some. We usually buy porta potties or something, and we have a lot of volunteers that make food, breakfast. It's a great time for your kids. They're free, and hope to see you there.